If you're looking for the best email marketing platform, we've gone ahead and tested the leading tools for email marketing and marketing automation, and we've narrowed it down to the top 3 options that will help you grow your email list and your business. Now, I strongly recommend that you stick around to hear out all 3 options, because you might think you found the right option, but then the next one could be the absolute game changer for you. So as you know, there's so many different options out there, and this is really one of those things where you don't want to make the wrong call, because it can be an absolute nightmare to move around between these different tools, especially once you've got automations and things built in. So we've done a ton of research and we've narrowed this shortlist down, but we've also got a lot of experience in this space, given that we have run our entire business on a lot of these different tools over the years as well. So jumping straight in, option number 1 is ConvertKit, or they're currently rebranding to Kit. This is one of the cleanest and simplest options out there, but it really packs a punch. It's got a really straightforward, easy to use interface. So even if you're an absolute beginner, you'll be able to jump in here, find what you need, and easily figure everything out relatively quickly. So I'd say that this is one of the easiest email marketing software or platforms to learn. So the main dashboard interface that you see when you log in, you're getting a lot of key information at a glance, things like your average open rates, your new subscribers. Obviously, it's just a demo account we've got here right now, but you can see all of this stuff here. It's laid out so well. You're not just bombarded with stuff, which can be pretty overwhelming. And you can see up the top here, this simple menu layout broken down to grow, send, automate, earn, and learn. So very simple. So in terms of creating and sending emails from here, we just come up to send, and then you've got a bunch of options in here where you can dive into the email broadcasts, sequences, you can create and customize up your email templates, and you can even create snippets or reusable blocks of content that you can use between different emails. I like that when you go to make a broadcast, you can see all of your previous ones. This will make it easy if you want to duplicate something or even resend it. But I also like that you get to easily see here how many people this email was sent out to, what the open rate is. You're getting access to that key information without even needing to click in or to go to reports or anything. When we create a new broadcast, there are templates that we can dive in and customize up. So if we can just go over here to browse templates. Now, there's not as many templates in here as a lot of the other options out there, but it is easy enough to dive in and to customize these things up and to get something out relatively quickly. So let's go ahead and pick this one. So we can see that all of this is obviously things that we can customize up really easy. We can create new sections in here. You can see there's even a feature now to add polls, add any images, videos, any of that stuff. You can easily just add here into your email. So it's not like a drag and drop email builder, but it is easy enough to customize things up. And it keeps things pretty straightforward and simple. But you'll see as we go through this video, there's some really cool features that some of the other options have integrated to really take this to the next level. Now, in terms of the sequence builder, this lets you build out basic email automations really quickly and easily. So if we come up here to new sequence, let's pick our template. So let's say this is the first email in our sequence that we want to create. We go ahead, we customize that up, and then we can come over here and we can add the next email. And then let's say that we want this email to go out 3 days after that first one went out. We can also specify what days of the week that we want these emails to go out as well, but we can easily build out these sequences here pretty quickly. And I like that you're not locked into the template that you picked as well. So you can see that we have the ability up here to change our template. So you don't have to manually go back through each one of your emails. If you've decided to go for a more just text-based approach with your sequences, you can easily trigger that from here. And I can't stress enough how much quicker it is to be able to create your email sequences from here instead of needing to go and build out the emails manually, separately, and then link them all in some sort of automation flow. So it just makes perfect sense to have this here, and it keeps you in this headspace of, I'm creating emails. So we can just focus on creating emails without diving into the rest of the stuff. Now, in terms of automations, we'll come up here to automate, then to visual automations. And this is another area where ConvertKit is powerful, yet still very simple. So it even says back up here, create powerful automated funnels for your audience. So we can come over here to new automation. And I like in here that we get to choose some presets here that are created for us. We can use these templates here to automatically build a big chunk of this out for us. Let's just pick this one. Welcome subscribers to your newsletter. It's then going to go ahead and create this automation here for us. And obviously we can dive in and customize it up. And then make it pretty clear when you just put your mouse over what it is each step is doing. So this first one, start this automation when a subscriber joins newsletter onboarding form. Then check if the subscriber has received an intro to the content tag. And then from here, this decision point, if this is completed, yes or no, it's going to send them down either one of these two pathways until they reach the end of the automation. So we can easily edit these steps, or we can add new steps into this process as well. So we can click here and we can add an event, like a tag is added, a tag is removed, or an action. So what action we want to take in that part of the sequence. Do we want to add the subscriber to another email sequence? Do we want to add or remove a tag, or even unsubscribe them at that point? And then we can also specify conditions or other decision points. Split subscribers at this point in the workflow based on tags, custom fields, email opens, or there's even advanced filters here too. So again, I think they do a good job of making this simple yet powerful at the same time, but it's nowhere near as powerful as the next two options. ConvertKit does have landing pages built in as well. They're obviously up here under Grow for growing your email list. We've got landing pages and forms. And if we go to create a new one here, we can see that there is a fair few templates in here for us to choose from. But again, these are fairly basic in terms of the customization and things that you can do with them. But these will allow you to get the job done fairly simply without a whole bunch of bells and whistles. And there's definitely a lot of people that just need that. Now, in terms of segmenting your email list and categorizing different people for different things, ConvertKit relies heavily on tags, but you can also segment by segments and custom fields as well. And usually we're pretty wary of anything that leans heavily into tags because it can get pretty messy and pretty hard to use once this scales out and once you've got a bunch of these things happening. It does give you extra flexibility that there is custom fields available, and that'll also allow you to get a bit more complicated in some of the automations and workflows and things that you can build out. But again, nothing compared to the next two options if you're looking to build out a lot of automations and really control everything at a granular level. ConvertKit does support A/B testing, but it is quite limited again compared to some of the next options. You can only test one variation of a subject line, and you can also set how long the test will run before a winner is determined. But it is fairly basic, but also easy to use. And I like that it's included here in the email builder that you can set this up at the time of writing your email and writing your subject line. We can just hit here on A/B testing. We can list out our two subject lines here, and then we can jump into the settings and we can see how many minutes after this email is sent this test will run for before a winner is determined. So basic, but easy to use. Now, ConvertKit's also got some built-in e-commerce features as well, and they do integrate with other tools too, through sales pages, broadcasts, and automations. Now, you will be more restricted when you're using these built-in tools, other than going with more powerful third-party e-commerce apps. But this is good enough for selling things like any basic digital products, newsletters, ebooks. The fact that you can do this all from within ConvertKit as well is probably going to be a big win for some people. So rounding this out, ConvertKit is a great option for probably most users. It's basic, but there are workarounds that will allow you to get more complex to build out what you need. And ConvertKit is very intentional with what they do. They're not about just adding in a bunch of extra features, adding in a ton of bloat, which in turn means that there's a lot less potential overwhelm for people to jump in and just do what they got to do. So it is easy to use. It's easier to pick up. It offers some great basic automations that you can grow into, and you don't need to be super technical to use it. But it does offer less features and a lot less pro-level automations and controls than the following options. Now, in regards to pricing, there's a few different options. And as you'll see with a lot of these services and tools, it's normally a sliding scale. So it is based off the number of subscribers that you have. So we see if we scroll down here, there is a newsletter plan here that's free. This will give you up to 10,000 subscribers, only one email sequence, and one user. But it does give you things like unlimited landing pages and opt-in forms and email broadcasts. Up from that, we've got the creator plan and the pro plan, and we can see how this scales. So we're currently here at 1,000 email subscribers. And if we scale this here up to 5,000, you can see how the price increases. We'll just do this up to 10K as well, because we'll compare this to the upcoming options as well. But it is worth noting that free plan here, it does also have ConvertKit branding on the emails and everything. So to remove the ConvertKit branding, this is where you will need to be on the creator or the pro plan. Now with the pricing, the good thing about all of these options is that you're only ever charged once per identified user, unlike some of the other options out there that will charge you multiple times if your individual user happens to be on multiple lists, which I think is a crazy way to charge people. So this is much simpler. That brings us to option number 2, which is ActiveCampaign. Now this one is a step up from ConvertKit in terms of tools and automations and functionality, but it does still have a great, clean, easy to to navigate interface. The main dashboard area that you see when you first log in, it's so much more customizable. You can choose which widgets or what information you want to have presented here. And you even have the ability to switch between a marketing dashboard and an e-commerce dashboard too. In terms of the menu bar and navigating around, you can see that given that ActiveCampaign does have so many more features and things in it, it's not going to be as streamlined as ConvertKit, but it's also still easy enough to find everything with these sub-menus and the navigation here over on the left. Just with the interface and the experience as well, it's worth noting that things seem to take longer to load. They're just not as snappy or not as fluid as ConvertKit and as the next option as well. You can see that even switching between the marketing and the e-commerce tab here, like it's just not super quick. And it's not the internet connection or anything like that we're on. It's like it's just doing a heap of processing or something in the background. Sometimes if you got to go back between different pages and things, it can get a little frustrating. In terms of the actual email builder though, there is a lot of customization while still being easy and intuitive to use. Now it's not as easy as ConvertKit, but you do have access to so much more functionality too. So if we come over here to campaigns, and then we can create our first campaign here on this account. We give it a name. We can select the type of campaign, whether we want it to be standard, whether we want to run split test. So you can see we're prompted with a bunch of fields here for subject line, pre-header, all of this stuff to customize up. Now we've got the option here to use the email designer with also options for text only or HTML builder. But in terms of the templates, there's a lot in here to choose from. So these are the basic templates here. We've got designed templates here as well. But there's also some cool AI functionality dropped throughout ActiveCampaign, and it's something that they seem to be really focusing on too, which is cool. So there's even this one here, like auto-generate custom branded templates with AI based on your business website. So we can put in our website here and choose import my brand kit. And it's going to go ahead and grab your logos, extract your brand colors, and learn about your business based on what's written on there. And it's generated a preview of an email here with her brand kit that is pulled from our website. Now, obviously we could change the background color, the fonts and all of that stuff in here, but it's even gone through and pulled out our social profiles from that website too. And of course, you've got the ability just to start from scratch as well. But we can see with the email builder here, it's next level from what you're getting access to in ConvertKit. And everything as well is just drag and drop. So we can just grab the elements that we want and we can drop them into the template quickly and easily. Even things like timers. And you've got control over the structure of the email here as well. But there's also some other really powerful stuff in here as well, like being able to customize up what people are seeing on mobile versus desktop. And you're able to hide elements and change sizing and all of that stuff in here too. Now, in terms of building out sequences, there's no dedicated sequence builder. You do need to build out all of your automations, both basic and advanced, with their automation builder. Now, this is a pretty big downside for ActiveCampaign because it makes even making basic automations take longer than they probably should. But at the same time, you've also got access to the more powerful tools in that automation builder. So it's not surprising that it's going to take longer. But inside of the automation builder, this is really where the power of ActiveCampaign comes in. In terms of most of the email platforms out there, this is probably one of the most powerful, most robust automation builders out there, except for the next option. So ActiveCampaign's automations support everything that ConvertKit does, but you can get far more advanced with it as well. There's also plenty of templates in there that are really useful for beginners or for people who maybe don't like starting with a blank canvas and want some ideas or inspiration for what they can build out. All of that is in there as well. Plus, there's also now some new AI suggestions too. So when you go to the automation builder here, it says, what can we automate for you? And you can pick your goal here, send targeted and effective campaigns, grow my list and generate more leads. Like we can pick here and it's going to go ahead and help us create these automations for us. So let's try grow my list and generate more leads. And we can see now it's generating some suggestions here for us. Try out these automations. So we've got welcome new marketing leads and customers to our brand, a weekly newsletter to grow marketing list and generate leads, and growing marketing list and generate leads from other industry company. And then we can just choose see it in action. And it's gone ahead and it's created this automation here for us as if it was just a template based one. So you obviously have the ability to build these things out from scratch in here as well, to use the templates, but also the AI. And again, in a lot of ways, it works similar to the ConvertKit one, but really on steroids. So we can see here, someone subscribes to a list. They then get sent here an email, which we can click on here to edit that email. Now you'll see that that's taken us over here to edit this email, this individual email. So it's not like what ConvertKit had, but we could build out all the emails one by one, all in the one interface, one headspace. Here we've really got to do them one at a time, or at least edit them that way. But in terms of actually customizing these or even building them out from scratch, you can see when you hit the plus button here to add an action or add a step that we've got the ability to do things like to send an email, send a site message, notification email. We could add that step in here as a condition or a workflow. So we could tell this to wait or to pause the automation at this point. We can add a decision point here. So if this happens, if this user has this tag or is on this list, then do this or do something else. But we can even do things like split the traffic evenly to do things like present different offers to different people or to A/B split test stuff. Or from within this automation, we could trigger another automation or to throw a webhook out, or we can even trigger a goal to pull someone out of an automation. And then down here under contacts, we can do things like add a tag, remove a tag. That stuff's fairly obvious. We can add to a Facebook custom audience. And there's even the ability to integrate your website tracking and link to different events and things like clicking on a button on your website and linking that all back to an individual in ActiveCampaign. So you can see this really is next level in terms of what you can build out here compared to ConvertKit. Now we've even now got access to AI integrations within this workflow builder too. So if we come over here to AI builder, and then we hit on one of our plus buttons here to add something in, we can just type out what we want to have happen and it's going to automatically add it. So we could say, wait, 3 days, and that's now added. So it can be that we're just adding one step at a time like this, like send an email, wait a day, add another email to send, or there's objective-based prompts too. Build a 1-week drip series with 3 emails. Again, all of this stuff is just getting easier and easier. Now, in terms of growing your email list, ActiveCampaign has landing pages built in as well. So we can go to website, pages, and add a new page. And you can see, again, there is a lot of templates in here for us to choose from and customize up. And we get access to that same functionality where it's a drag and drop builder that's really, really powerful and easy to use. But in terms of editing the templates, you've got a lot more than we do in ConvertKit. You can see that we can just, again, drag and drop stuff, pick things up, move them to where we want them. It's far more intuitive and easier to customize up. But one big difference is that we do need to create the forms manually. You can see there's a separate area here for forms. So to obviously add an opt-in form, we're gonna need to make a form. So we want to go ahead and create that first, and then we add that onto the page. So in that sense, yes, it is a little harder, as in there's more steps involved to create things like a simple landing page. ConvertKit was more straightforward, but it was also lacking the customization. Now, in terms of list or contact segmentation, ActiveCampaign currently uses lists, tags, and custom fields, but with the big difference being that you'll likely rely more on lists rather than tags like ConvertKit. So this makes segmenting so much cleaner and less clunky, which then flows through to the automations and allows you to get so much more advanced without adding extra bloat, complexity, or confusion for someone to jump back in later and to work out what's happening. So this makes things so much more streamlined. Now on this point too, ActiveCampaign has announced that they will be releasing an AI suggested segmenting feature as well, where it's gonna look at things like that user's behavior, what sequences and automations and things it's been through, and will automatically create segments for different types of users, which will obviously flow through to the automations and things as well. Now, this isn't something that we've been able to test yet, but it's something that sounds pretty cool. Now, ActiveCampaign also has a really powerful built-in CRM, but you do need to purchase that as a separate add-on right now on a separate plan to get access to it. But it'll let you manage your customers, track their history and any of their interactions. Now, this was something that last time we made this review, it was much closer integrated and included on a lot of the cheaper plans as well. But now this is a more expensive option if you need that. Now, I did touch on A/B split testing a little bit earlier, but yes, it is something that ActiveCampaign has as well, but it is something that you need to select upfront when you are starting a campaign. It's not something that you can decide to do halfway through building out your emails. But you can test subject line, sender name, and email content for broadcasts and sequences. So we can see here when we're creating a new campaign, we can select split test and it says, what do you want to test? We can do email subjects and or from information. or we can do email subjects, from information, and email content. And then we can specify how we determine a winner from our split test. So we can specify that the winner has the highest click-through rate or best open rate after a certain amount of time. And we also, back on the automation side of things, have the ability to split test different workflows by again sending some traffic down one set of workflows and others down another. So you can see how powerful these tools are and how they're going to allow you to optimize for the best results. Now, ActiveCampaign doesn't have built-in e-commerce features like ConvertKit. The strength that ActiveCampaign offers is really its integrations with other e-commerce platforms like WooCommerce, Shopify, Stripe, as well as the metrics and the insights that it's providing through reporting, which you can see back on that e-commerce dashboard. There are even e-commerce related automation templates for things like payment failed or for recurring payments, and triggers that you can action in your automations for things like when someone makes a purchase or someone abandons cart. So by not having all the e-commerce stuff like ConvertKit does built in, it's not necessarily a downside because it really frees you up to use other tools that are more best in class at those specific things too. But also using those tools in ConvertKit, you're much more locked into their ecosystem, their billing, their subscriptions, which is typically harder to move away from if you ever need to. But overall, ActiveCampaign has a huge level of depth. It is definitely harder to learn than ConvertKit, but it will give you more options as you grow if it's likely that you'll want things like more advanced automations. But with a recent big price increase, ActiveCampaign is probably going to cater now to fewer people than it was before. So this is where you've really got to ask yourself if you're going to use all of those features in things like the automation builder. Given the price increase, you might find that it's not worth to have access to these tools just in case, in which case ConvertKit might be a better option for you. Now, in terms of pricing, this is another one with the sliding scale. We can see here we've got this set at the minimum at 1,000 contacts. And we've got a few different options: starter plan, plus plan, pro, and enterprise. This pricing here is annual pricing, so price per month if paying annually. It is a little bit more if you choose to go month to month. But if we scroll down, we can start to see what some of the limits or restrictions are with the different plans. So with the starter plan here, you get 5 actions per automations, whereas it's unlimited on the others. There's also limits around the web forms, around the landing page templates, and A/B testing as well. You also see that the AI features don't really come in until the plus and above. And we can also see here as we go down that the enhanced CRM features are actually in addition to. So these are an add-on that you would purchase on top of your monthly plans here. And again, that's only relatively new that this has now been separated out. And if we come back up to our sliding scale here, let's see how this is for 2,500 up to 5,000. And let's also up this to 10,000. So we can see how this scales out over time. But I've still got one more option. This one is the most advanced, and it's Bento. Now this is one that you might not have heard of, but it's actually the one that we use at Primal Video. And this one is a more advanced option. It is more sophisticated than ActiveCampaign. And really it's more powerful than any other software that we've come across. It's got an amazing level of flexibility that really opens things up, and this allows you to take everything to the next level. But I also want to say it's likely going to require more technical knowledge as well. Now the overall interface again is pretty intuitive. It's easy to use, it's easy to navigate. To me, it's the most fun and light and less corporate feeling out of all of them, which if you're gonna be spending a bit of time in here, it's a nice thing. But the load times and how fast and snappy everything is, like that's something that is such a relief, especially when you're using these back to back with something like ActiveCampaign that just seems to be forever page loading. Whereas on here, you click on something and it's almost instant. But again, with the main dashboard area, this is a test account, but we can see who's online because it's a great level of tracking. We can see new monthly subscribers, total subscribers, any major issues or anything, but also updates from the team right here on that page. The menu down the left-hand side is really straightforward for you to easily find what you need. So we just go to emails. We can then see all of our previous emails here. And when we've got emails that are scheduled up in the calendar view at the top, to create a new one, we can go create broadcast. We can give our broadcast a name, and I will come back to some of these other awesome settings here in a minute, but we choose save and continue. And then from here, we can go ahead and we can choose our template. And there are thousands of templates in here available for you to choose, for you to customize up. And these are good looking templates. And there's also filtering here because there's so many to help you narrow down your selection. So you can see we've got the different types here, premium, basic, and free. We can also choose the different type of template in terms of the email that we're going to send out. Is it an apology email, confirmation, discount, email digest, and further filtering down here too. And then when you've picked your template, let's run with this one. Then this is very similar to the kind of thing that we saw in ActiveCampaign. It is very customizable. It is very easy to use. It is drag and drop to bring stuff in, to add things like timers or whatever it is. It is so simple, but so powerful. And this is hands down our favorite email builder because it is so intuitive and fast. And so even though the tool set here is very much the same as what's in ActiveCampaign, this isn't slow. This is fluid. This is fast. And that makes a huge difference. Now there are other options if you don't want to go the template or the library route. You've got access just straight to the raw HTML code if that's your thing. There's also access to Stripo in here, which says it's a powerful block builder for beautiful responsive emails, no coding required, best for promotional image heavy emails. So it's another lot of templates and things that you can use to create amazing stuff really quickly. But there's also Shoji, or the first one here, our famous AI powered rich text editor, perfect for copywriters and relationship builders. Best for simple text-based emails. So while other platforms have plain text editors, they're usually just that, plain text editors. But Bento's is next level. It's an AI-powered rich text editor that lets you easily add custom fields, buttons, headings, all while writing. And it's got a solid built-in AI writing tool, which is better than ActiveCampaign's. So we could just start typing our email here, hey, and then we want to say bring in a custom field or tag something in here. We can add the / and look at what we can bring in here. We can add all our custom fields, all of that stuff really, really simply. But there's also an option here to let Bento continue writing for you. And even with no further context but the word hey, it's written us an email. So you can see how powerful this could be. If you've already started to write your email, you want Bento to finish the sentence or AI to finish the sentence for you or to add extra context or anything. This is really, really powerful. So let's try this. Hey there, I wanted to let you know about our new YouTube growth training, Continue Writing. It's designed to help you enhance your channel's performance by mastering key strategies from content creation, audience engagement, and analytics. Oh my gosh, that's pretty amazing. But Bento, on the way that it treats emails, it's also had a real fundamental rethink on how email should be delivered. Back to when we're creating our email broadcast here, there's some tools here around batching. So it says here that batching is a way to send your broadcast in smaller groups over a period of time. Users that send with batches over 12 hours or more see substantial improvements in engagement rates. Batching also allows you to pause at any time, removing the stress of sending. So if you're someone that's sending out a big lot of emails all at once, then Bento knows that you could potentially be triggering some spam filter algorithms, which could massively impact your email deliverability, because sending out a massive volume of emails all at once could likely raise some red flags on some servers. So they have this feature here that we haven't seen anywhere else that lets you batch send a campaign or emails out over X hours. So it's much less likely to look like a bulk email send and less likely to trigger any overzealous spam filters. So this is a really nice approach, and again, something we haven't seen done anywhere else. Just like ConvertKit, Bento has a sequence builder as well for basic email automations. And this is something that can save you a ton of time as well. You get access to the same email templates and email options. So the Shoji text editor, the template library, Stripo. So there's that consistency. It's not like this is its own feature on its own little island. Everything is how you would expect it to be. And you can easily build out your emails like you could in ConvertKit, where you're just adding an email here or duplicating an email. And then you can easily specify how long after the previous email or the action was taken that the next email is going to be sent. These sequences, when you're building them out, you can easily clone them or duplicate them. So if you've got repeat things like a product launch that you might do multiple times a year, you can just hit a button and they're automatically scheduled based on the time periods that you've added between each of the emails. Again, a massive time saver. There's also an AI sequence builder, which will automatically generate a sequence of emails for you up to 7 emails long. So then you can easily jump in, you can make any edits and deploy it straight away. But comparing this AI sequence builder to ActiveCampaign's AI copywriting tool in the email builder, Bento has used AI in such a useful way. Like ActiveCampaign and most other platforms, they've kind of half-assed it. And this is something that Mike, my brother and business partner at Primal Video, was talking to Jesse from from Bento, and they were talking about this AI functionality, and this was something that they rolled out within just a couple of days after that conversation. So a quick example of how this works, if we're in here where we're creating a sequence, instead of just adding our emails, we can come up the top here, generate emails with Bento Intelligence. We can then choose the type or the style here, and then we can just type in down the bottom here what we want. So let's try this. Write me a 7-day email series onboarding new users to our product, a YouTube growth training program with an amazing community called Primal Video Accelerator. Let's hit generate emails. So it's not just going to create the placeholders and the sequences for this, it's actually going to generate the emails themselves automatically for you. So we can see that it's going ahead and it's building this out already, like welcome to Primal Video Accelerator. We're thrilled to have you on board and can't wait to see you crush your YouTube goals. This is amazing. And we've got how to get started and setting your goals, meet your new community and say hi. So just my one mention of the community that we have, it's also brought that into the emails here. What to expect, the key strategies to boost your growth, how to make the most of our community. I mean, this is amazing. And then obviously we can dive in and we can edit this up, customize things as well. So there really is nothing else out there like this, especially to this level. But in terms of the automation side of things, this is where Bento gets really powerful. And again, it's really another fundamental rethink on how these automations and things should be processed. And it's also adopted a really clean canvas approach to it. So we're gonna go to flows, and then we can come up the top here to add a flow. So it says here, flows are a powerful way to automate anything and everything in Bento. So we can see it's given us our starting point here. And then over on the left side, we've got things like our triggers, all the different triggers that we can action here. There's actions, updates, delays, splits, and notes. And we can just drag these here onto our flow to build this out. So there are pre-selected options to choose from when you're looking at the different triggers and events, just like ActiveCampaign and ConvertKit, but there's also so much more added complexity in here too. You've got the ability to create custom events and different criteria for those events. So this means that you can create pretty much any event trigger, any workflow, and then perform almost any event that you want inside of that workflow. They've got a bunch of video tutorials over here on the side to help you out with this, but there's not really any built out templates that you can just apply like you could in our other email platform options. But the upside of this complexity is that you can get a ton of flexibility and you can really get granular with the way that you're building things out. So this is not for complete beginners, but this is for someone who has maybe reached limitations and frustrations in those other automation builders, because there really isn't any limit to what you could build out in here. Now it's worth noting that Bento doesn't have built-in landing pages or a landing page builder, but it's also not surprising given that Bento really centers everything around flexibility, and they really wouldn't want to introduce a built-in feature like that would hinder that flexibility. But instead what they do is they provide you with things like amazing site tracking tools that you can build out your own landing pages on tools like WordPress or Webflow, but they're able to integrate through into Bento with a great amount of tracking and detail for giving you a much better end result than what you would have in those other tools. Bento's also got really impressive form builders built in too. And again, they're unlike anything that we've seen in any other tool, with a ton of customizable logic that you can build in. And these are really closer to something like Typeform with customizable logic that you can build in without needing another SaaS tool to go and do it for a response. So there is nothing else like this that we've experienced. Now, in regards to pricing, this is really streamlined as well. There's a Bento starter option here for $30 a month. And this says here, every feature you need, month to month, pay as you go, up to 100,000 emails per month, up to 3,000 identified users. So again, it's also got this sliding scale here. I've currently got this set to 500. So it's telling us on this plan, we can have up to 3,000. On the growth plan here, again, for $30 a month at the 500 subscribers, you can see you're unlocking here every feature they offer. This is month-to-month pricing, not annual pricing like we saw with the other options. And so there are annual discounts here available too. But that's unlimited email sending, unlimited team members, unlimited sites for up to 500 identified users. And then that's where this sliding scale kicks in. So some of the other numbers we did before was around 1,000. You can see that's still $30 a month. Let's go 5K, 10K, And you can see at the 10K point, it's only the Bento growth plan that's available. So if you're someone who's trying to decide between ActiveCampaign and Bento, and you know that you'll eventually go with Bento, then you may as well jump the gun and go straight with Bento given the pricing difference here. But rounding this entire video out, if you're someone who is looking for something simple, something quick that gets the job done, you're not interested in a lot of complexity or a steep learning curve, then ConvertKit will be the one for you. If you're looking for something with more advanced automations or a ton of customization, a lot of room to grow, and you're happy to spend a bit of time learning how to use it, then that's where ActiveCampaign could be the best option for you. Or if you're more of a power user with experience and you're frustrated by some of those limitations in the other tools, and you're ready to get a little bit more complex, but have the freedom and everything there as well, then that's where Bento will be the best option. So I'd strongly recommend jumping on some of the trial versions and having a play around to see which one actually fits your individual needs, and obviously where you want to take this as well. But for us, having used ConvertKit, having used ActiveCampaign, and now Bento for our entire business, Bento is the one that we are still using. So leave me a comment down below. What are you currently using, and which one of these are you most excited about? And if you want to find out how we grow our email list off the back of our YouTube channel, then check out the free training that I've got linked in the description box below. We also dive into this stuff in much more detail inside of our accelerator program. And as always, there's links on screen to help you even further with related content. If you found this valuable, hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video.